Hey folks, Joe Valley here from Quiet Light and the Quiet Light podcast. As you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I've built, bought, and sold my own online business, just like everybody here on the Quiet Light team. I'm on track to close about 100 million in the next, not in the next 3 months, but collectively over the last 8 years. And each deal is getting larger, so that's going to change pretty quickly. Walker, for instance, on the team in his first full calendar year closed 16 million. Brad's going to crush my 100 million very quickly because he's on track to close something by the end of the year for about 25 million. We've got an incredible team of entrepreneurs. They've all built, bought, and sold online businesses. They've been training for the advisory role at Quiet Light their entire life without knowing it. Each and every one of us folks are here to help first. And through that, we're going to help you grow your business and make it more valuable for the buyers in the audience that want to buy a great business from a great business owner at a great price. So it works out for everyone equally. Speaking of helping, today's guest is, and I'm going to hack his name. I told him that already. It's Augustas Kligys. I'm a redneck from Maine, as I said, so I didn't quite get that right. He's shaking his head. It was a good effort. But Augustas, as I'm going to pronounce it now because it's much easier for me, is the founder of a company called OrangeClick, and their objective is to educate you and help you and share information from people that are experts in the Amazon world. It's an information-based platform for Amazon private label sellers. They facilitate virtual summits and webinars and create demos for tools designed specifically for Amazon sellers. And they've got a great YouTube channel as well. It's all under OrangeClick, and that's Click with a K, K-L-I-K. He runs the European Seller Conference. It's actually going to be in Prague of 2021 in March. It's actually going to be a live in-person conference. So for those folks in the States that want to go to Europe and get over to Prague and need an excuse to write that off as a business expense, that's your opportunity. He also runs PPC Congress, which is an event where Amazon sellers, PPC consultants, agencies, and software companies focused on PPC and Amazon all get together in one place to discuss Amazon advertising. And from all of these events, you can learn everything from launching products to optimizing your listings, influence your traffic, essentially everything you need to know to build and grow and eventually perhaps sell your Amazon business. And I think it's a great service. Augustas, thank you for joining the Quiet Light podcast.
Hello, Joy. It's nice to be here. Thank you.
So sorry, I keep butchering your name. I want you to mispronounce Joe throughout the whole podcast, if you would.
Hello, Joe.
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, listen, I told you earlier, I think what you're doing is fantastic. It's really hard, I think, for people that have built an Amazon business or have bought one and are trying to learn how to grow it, to find great conferences to go to. And what you're doing at OrangeClick, I think, is fantastic because you are really focusing in on specifically Amazon and specifically conferences, many of them in the European area, some in the States. We met down at, what was it, the $1 Billion Summit that Kevin King put on down in Texas earlier this year. Can you tell us overall what the general concept of OrangeClick is and the purpose and drive of the business itself?
So the general purpose is to help people. In this specific case, it's to help Amazon sellers and to be more specific, private label sellers. So we don't create content or events for, let's say, arbitrage or wholesale sellers. It's only private label. So it's very niched, very specific. And we do that by creating content on our YouTube channel where basically we interview Amazon experts and software providers, and kind of our other half of the time goes in organizing events, virtual and in person. And also we run a website, amzsummits.com, which is, we try to collect manually events for Amazon sellers around the world, not only ours, but just that people have some database where they can refer to when they are looking for events.
Okay, and that's amzsummits.com?
Yes.
Okay. So those that are listening, that's, I think, a great URL to go to along with OrangeClick, where you'll be able to watch the interviews of people that are experts in the space. One of the things, as you know, we don't do here at Quiet Light is give you specific advice when it comes to running your e-commerce business or your FBA business or even your SaaS or content business if we've got Brad or David or Chris Guthrie involved. We all have that expertise in operating our own businesses, but here would help to advise you on the eventual exit of your business. Augustas is very much the same because he's bringing in experts through these virtual and live events to share their information. And having sources like AMZ Summits and OrangeClick, click again, KLIK, will allow you to pick and choose what you want to go to and what you want to learn. If there's something specific you want to learn, like PPC and getting better at advertising on Amazon, you can go to that specifically. Why don't we talk first about the event that you're going to have in March in Prague? Can you talk specifically about that event? Because that's when you're putting on yourself and bringing the experts in, right?
Yeah, yes. Well, I don't present myself. I just organize, maybe open the welcome session. But it's important to say that 4 years ago, I started with virtual events. And after I did 2.5 years of virtual events, virtual summits for Amazon sellers, I felt kind of wish to become an in-person event organizer. And European Seller Conference in 2019, almost 3 years ago, was the first flagship event, like first my event I ever organized in my life in person. And it was really a big success. And in 2021, we are doing the 3rd edition of it. The 2nd edition this year in March was actually affected by this COVID situation. We were running it in the middle of March when all the world was locking down on these days. So we had to adjust to new regulations of Czech Republic. But we look forward to meet again in March in Prague. We hope like within a few months, it will be a little bit easier for people to travel and to come to the middle of the Europe. And the idea why Prague, actually, we don't get many Czech people attending this event. It's basically international. I think in the first event, we got like 40 nationalities, so 40 countries. And the idea is that, Prague is in the center. It's neutral. There is no Amazon marketplace. There are warehouses, but so everybody comes, and Prague is perceived as a maybe cheap destination, tourist destination. So very often people come for the event Thursday, Friday for 2 days, and then the weekend they just stay longer and enjoy the city. So yeah, we are looking forward to this event, and we hope to get maybe, well, it's now difficult to say how many people we can expect because we don't know what will be the regulation. If there is a distancing regulation, then probably we will expect at least maybe 100. If it's easy, if everything is like back to normal, then we should get more than 200 people.
I find the smaller events are more impactful because you actually get to connect with individuals and have conversations around what you're trying to achieve, and those individuals that you expect to attend a European seller event, Augustas, are they Europeans? Are they Americans? Are they Canadians? Are they Australians? New Zealanders? Who is the actual people that you find are attending the European event specifically?
So basically, I would say the events we create at OrangeClick, we're probably the only ones creating international events in Europe. In UK, there are events, of course, English-speaking events. So they are also international, but because they're in UK, more British people come. But in our events, it's mostly European, maybe let's say, 80%, and maybe like 10% is from North America. We still get a little bit from North America, and then the rest of the countries. Sometimes people fly from Guatemala, from Asia. And but of course, my goal with this European Seller Conference is to create kind of the most important event for Amazon sellers, yearly event in Europe. Because in US, there are a lot of big selection of events and people can go. But for Europeans to travel to US, it's a little bit difficult. For some Europeans, it's even difficult with visa, to get permissions to enter the country. And in Europe, it's easy to travel. But European mindset, we live, there are, 30 or more countries in Europe, and each country lives in its own culture and borders. So very often you cross the border and it's a different culture and language. So very often people don't know what's happening across the border. Yeah. And my challenge is to inform them that something is happening for everyone in Europe. Mm-hmm. So that's why sometimes I seek help with a different industry industry leaders in different countries, ask them to if they can spread the word in their communities. So it's quite challenging. Yeah.
And who will be those industry leaders, the speakers at the European Seller Conference in March in Prague? What
to be
type
honest,
of individuals?
Okay, so most of the events we do, they are featuring service providers most of the time. Because if it's an Amazon seller and successful one who has a lot of knowledge, they would rather just have weekly mastermind group with their own like 5 people, other big Amazon sellers. They would not go, there is no sense for them to go on the stage. So we do, I cannot hide, most of our speakers are service providers. Some of them are also Amazon sellers. But we do I'm very picky, before I let them, a lot of people apply to speak at the European Seller Conference, but if I see potential new name, if I like the application, then I invite them, let's say, to do a video, just like this kind of interview, so that we kind of check if, for us, it's important that expert, the first kind of goal of the expert is to share the value, to give the value to the audience, and not to sell their service. And this is what we try to do. And of course, we try to find experts from different countries like Romania, Serbia, UK, and Eastern Europe, West Europe. And we do have always North American speakers as well, because North America has a big selection of good experts, and they are willing to come and speak. And we still have, of course, North American presence there.
Okay, excellent. I think it's a great opportunity for somebody to get over there and learn more about what's happening in the European area and take a nice vacation as well. Let's talk about PPC Congress and what you do there. This event is it an online event, or do you do these in person? And I understand specifically for PPC and agencies and consultants and software companies, right?
Yes. So it happened only one time 1 year ago in Amsterdam. It was an in-person event, and we intended to do it this year, but due to obvious situation, we didn't do. We would love to continue this event 2 times per year in North America and in Europe. And if it's North America, most likely it could be Mexico, because we always try to target like more. I traveled a lot in my life, more than 60 countries, and my life is without borders. So I would like also to create events where everybody can easily come. So let's say if it's in Mexico, it's much easier for Latin American people to come, Amazon specialists from Latin America. And PPC Congress, the idea of it was to to bring all this advertising knowledge, because Amazon advertising for Amazon sellers is one of the probably most important thing daily. If they don't run ads, they will unlikely be able to succeed. It's impossible probably not to run ads. So it's a very important aspect. And in this event, we try to attract big sellers, which are dealing a lot with advertising, then agencies which want to learn and network with each other and make partnerships, and also software tools, which are of course seeking for sellers and agencies to use their tools. So, and if people have visited any kind of conference in any kind of industry, they know the power of in-person event. So maybe not always the content is what is the best part of the event, but the networking, and it's amazing when you meet in person. Then it's
a
very
huge difference.
Different. Yeah,
it's a huge difference. I've got kids, I've got a family, and sometimes I don't like to travel to the events. So it's great that you do, the virtual events as well. It seems like you could attend many virtual events, but that in-person connection is really important. And I always find I begrudgingly get on the plane, and then I realize, oh, I'm friends with all these people, and it's great to see them again and hang out and have fun for a couple of days, along with learning as well. In regards to the software tools and demos, I'm looking at your site now at OrangeClick, and it's got software demos. So talk to us about that. You have specific software providers that come on and show demos of their products on your site, and you walk through it with them. How's that work?
All right. So my background is website programmer. So 4 years ago, I was still programming websites. So I'm like very, I like everything what is online and internet and software. And when I started to do interviews with experts, of course, a lot of softwares wanted kind of maybe to be promoted to my audience, but for me, it's boring to send just affiliate links. And 3 years ago, actually, I created this video series called Demo Mondays. And now after 3 years, we did almost 70 episodes. And the idea was that I invite the owners or creators of the software, and they come and they walk us through like a demo with all the features. And for me, I'm not an Amazon seller, but I know that some Amazon sellers are looking at these demos because they don't need to spend, let's say, 1 hour, 2 hour signing up for free trial and looking at everything. They can just quickly watch my video 2 times faster on YouTube, and within 20 minutes they will understand if interface resonates with them, if it's their style, if they see the features, all what they need. So this was the idea, kind of to give a chance. All what we do at OrangeClick is also a chance for service providers and software creators to get exposure. So we try to be very we don't associate ourselves with 1 or 2 software providers like maybe many other YouTubers do. But for us, it's not making money from affiliate, but more to give, to put on the plate what's available, and you choose as an Amazon seller. We don't provide you the choice. You just choose yourself from the variety.
No, I think it's great with you interviewing them and looking at it from a novice point of view, as opposed to just going to their company website and watching the 5-minute or 60-minute demo clip or signing up for the free trial, as you said. It's again education tools, sharing information, helping first, and second and third as well.
Actually, the problem with software websites is that there is no demo. It's maybe you have to spend another like half a minute searching and finding. But if you will go on the landing page, very often it's just nice, maybe animation or something. They don't show what is inside. For me, as a former web developer, I really like very critical at the websites. And whenever it's a web-based application, for me, even if it's cheap or for free, for me, it's important that it's easy to use, user-friendly, and easy to navigate. If it's not, then I will not be interested. I rather pay more money to get. So that was the idea, kind of to show how it looks like, because software tools, they don't show it on their website really, what's inside.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Jumping over to amzsummits.com, I want people to definitely visit that site. As I look at it, this recording's not airing until December 1st at this point. So rear view window, as I look at this and I think, what events do I want to attend in the next couple of months if I can, whether they're virtual and in person. And I see some that I'm definitely familiar with: Maximizing E-commerce, first week of October, which is our friend Kevin Sanderson, who's good friends with Scott Volker. Amazon World Conference in October again, Prosper Show in October. There's just in October alone, you're listing 6 or 7 events, and then trickling over into 2021. As I scan down through the page there, folks that are listening, I'm looking at probably 13 to 14 events that you can look at, including the European Seller Conference over in the Czech Republic. But there's stuff in Germany and Australia, in UK and US down in Tampa. A lot of different events that are really specific that can help you grow your Amazon business. So definitely check out AMZ Summits as well. On OrangeClick, Augustus, do you have any, everybody's got masterminds these days. Do you have any sections or community areas around FBA businesses where people can connect with each other through OrangeClick?
Yes, we do have what we call Slack club. So everybody is on Facebook groups. We never had a Facebook group because, well, I'm not an Amazon seller, so you need constant support for community. Yeah. But we created kind of an alternative. It's a Slack. I think at the moment we have over 200 people. If you go to the orangeclick.com/club, there will be information about that. And we just provide it as an alternative because we know a lot of people are business owners, and Slack is very popular among business owners. Not all, and you know this software, but Slack is popular, so we thought, okay, let's try this.
Mhm.
And,
So it's an opportunity for people, business owners, entrepreneurs to connect and chat with each other in their own sort of OrangeClick mastermind group, but it's called Slack Club.
yes, it's happening on the Slack, and we have different channels. Let's say on the Facebook groups, this is where a lot of sellers go and search for information. We also on the OrangeClick website, somewhere in the resources menu, we have a link to a table where we manually collected Facebook groups related to Amazon. So you can also search according to your country or your topic, maybe you will find. But in Facebook, it's a lot of noise and a
Yes, it
lot,
is.
and it's difficult to kind of structure the information. In that Slack club, what we call, we have like maybe 20 topics, let's say listings, logistics, and you can just ask questions which are important. Just in the appropriate channel, you ask the question. So it's kind of
so you're
structured.
sort of drowning out the rest of the noise. And I'm looking at the list now. If you just want to talk about reviews and how to improve your reviews, there's comments in there and people that are focused on that. Legal, listings, logistics, outsourcing, product research, product launch, taxes and accounting, which is always a fun subject to talk about, even branding and customer service. So I think that's fantastic. And you've got about 200 people in there now. They're all e-commerce or FBA business owners sharing information and advice.
I believe they are mostly Amazon FBA sellers, private label sellers. Of course, there are some service provider representatives. So it's not a bad thing because, for example, I know a couple of companies signed up which deal with VAT, like taxes in Europe. And if you have some question, they will probably be able to answer you. And
so this is good for US-based sellers that are trying to expand over to Europe to be able to talk to folks.
This particular question, yes, but we are not targeting only Europeans in that club. It's for everyone. But of course, I'm European. I have European accent, and maybe more Europeans are attracted than US people. But to be honest, the traffic or the audience we have is maybe half US, half European, or North American and European.
I would think that it's great for somebody in the States to be able to be part of a group where there's Europeans in there that can ask, geo-specific questions and help from a different point of view. And then do the same. If somebody that's got a German FBA account is trying to expand to the US, they may be able to connect with somebody in the US that can help them as well. I think it's great. Let's talk about the virtual events. Obviously, in 2020, we've had, the pandemic, and hopefully we're looking back in 10 years and just calling it the pandemic instead of the 2020 pandemic, which would mean we had another one. And it's changed the way that, people have attended events. You've got a lot of virtual events listed on AMZ Summits. Is this part of what you think will be a resource and guide for folks going forward, both the in-person events where you can connect and meet face-to-face, which I agree is probably best, but also the online events for those people that are just getting started or cannot afford to travel to 60 different countries like you have? Is virtual events something that you're going to continue to focus on and share information on for folks?
So AMZ Summits platform features not only our events, and when we started this website 3 years ago, the idea was to feature 3 types of meetings. So it's in-person conferences, virtual summits, and local meetups. There is a website, meetup.com, with a lot of local meetup groups in different countries. And we also try to handpicked like manually, and we have a table listed with maybe 200 meetup groups around the world where you can also search in the AMZ Summits website. And I started myself in this industry with virtual summits, and I think virtual summits are a really good resource for the knowledge, but also virtual summits, I think, for Amazon sellers could work as a database of service providers, because sometimes I see questions, who can suggest me a listing optimizing specialist? But then you watch a virtual summit, you listen to maybe 3 people talking about optimization keywords, and you think, this guy's style resonates with me. I want to contact him to get his service. And very often I tell to look at it as a database of kind of as a reference later if you need something from the services, because all Amazon sellers are using some kind of services. But don't get me wrong, these virtual summits very often these speakers, they are just sharing the value. It's not like really a pitch. And yeah, it's still good. It can be overwhelming, especially in 2020, because when I started, I was like kind of I think I was the first to introduce virtual summits. And for the first 2 years, nobody was doing these kind of things. And then other people jumped in. And this year was crazy, 2020, because virtual summits are happening every month, 1 or 2 times. And
yeah, and this is the year you were going to go to more in-person summits. So things got backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
But at least it's a resource for people to go and find more virtual summits to attend. And I think, connecting with the people that are making presentations and literally, if there's a better connection, they can use their services, as you say. And it's not a pitch. You're not having people on that are hard pitching their products or services. They're educating first and helping and sharing information. And then people can choose who they want to work with, I assume, yes?
Yes, it's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this is fantastic. I think the European Seller Conference is a great one for people to get to learn more about what's going on in that part of the world. If they're US-based sellers, good opportunity to take a nice little vacation because we're all cooped up. Hopefully things will be good by then. PPC Congress as well. If you're focused on advertising on Amazon, I think it's an important one to attend. And then all of the other things that people can find on OrangeClick, whether it's the Slack group or the YouTube channel where Augustas is interviewing product or service, product owners, people that own SaaS products or service products geared towards Amazon sellers. I think it's all fantastic. Great resources both there and on AMZ Summits. And I'm glad we finally got a chance to get you on the podcast. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while because I think what you offer is pretty unique and different. So thanks for taking the time. I know it's late there, and I appreciate you staying up late and sharing your time and expertise with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. I appreciate your time as well, and good luck.
Hopefully I'll see you over in Prague in the spring.